Apple is finally making an iPhone that folds. After years of rumors and waiting, it looks like we might see an iPhone Fold as soon as this fall. And I am going to give you 2 solid reasons why you should start saving up for it right now, and 2 equally strong reasons why you might want to skip it completely. There is also a major plot twist that Apple might pull that could change everything about this device. I have been asking for a foldable iPhone for almost 7 years now. Ever since I first got my hands on those early Samsung Galaxy Folds and Motorola flip phones, I knew Apple needed to join this game. For the past 3 years, I have been using a Google Pixel Fold as my daily driver, so I know exactly what the folding phone life is really like. Today we are diving deep into everything you need to know about Apple's upcoming foldable iPhone and whether it is worth your money. Let me start with the first reason I'm excited about this iPhone Fold. You get a tablet-sized screen that fits in your pocket like a regular phone. Think about it, we humans have been folding things forever. Books, wallets, letters, even our clothes when we pack them away. We fold laptops, we had flip phones like the Motorola Razr, and there's a simple reason why folding works so well. It protects what is inside, makes things easier to carry, and honestly, it is just fun to open and close something. When you can wrap fragile things in tougher materials or turn wide things into thick things, folding just makes perfect sense. Phones used to be foldable too, back when we needed full keyboards and full screens at the same time. That is basically the same reason laptops became notebooks in the first place. But then everyone stopped caring about hardware keyboards and started wanting bigger and bigger screens. So we entered the era of flat slab phones that kept growing year after year. iPhone Plus became iPhone Max, Samsung had their Ultra models, and screens just kept getting larger and larger. Eventually, we hit a wall, literally. There's only so big you can make a phone screen before it won't fit in your pocket anymore. But people still wanted more screen real estate for watching videos, reading, and getting work done. The solution? Go back to folding. Trade width for thickness, so you can carry an iPad-sized screen that folds down to phone size. And that is exactly what we are getting with this iPhone Fold. But here is where that plot twist I mentioned comes in. Right now, iPhones have roughly a 2-to-1 aspect ratio. They are about twice as tall as they are wide. If Apple just folded that in half, you get something close to square when opened up. A square screen is fantastic for reading websites, ebooks, or working with documents. But it is pretty much useless for watching movies or YouTube videos that are made for widescreen formats. You'd have huge black bars on the top and bottom. That might be why the rumors are saying Apple is not sticking with the current iPhone shape. Instead, they are reportedly going with something wider, closer to a 3-to-2 aspect ratio. When you unfold that, you get something close to 4-to-3, which is exactly the same shape as every iPad from the Mini to the Pro. So this might be less like an iPhone Pro that opens up and more like an iPad Mini that folds closed. Think of Microsoft's old Surface 2, that dual-screen device that could fold. If this is true, Apple is putting all their focus on making the unfolded tablet experience amazing, even if it means the folded phone experience might feel a bit weird. Unless you love the old BlackBerry Passport with its square screen, this might feel strange as a phone. For me personally, I use my current foldable phone way more in the closed position than open. I use it like a regular phone most of the time and only unfold it when I really need that bigger screen. But your usage might be totally different, especially considering how good Apple's iPad apps are and how well their software scales across different screen sizes. Now let's talk about the potential deal breaker, and it is not the screen crease. Everyone always worries about the fold line down the middle of foldable screens, but Apple uses Samsung to make their displays, just like they use TSMC to make their chips. Samsung's latest folding screen technology has made the crease way less noticeable. Sure, tech reviewers will still point it out in certain lighting conditions, but for daily use, most people just stop noticing it after a few days. The real issue is going to be price. Think about what goes into a foldable phone compared to a regular one. Instead of one screen, you need 2, the main folding display plus the outside screen. Instead of one thick battery, you need at least 2 thinner batteries to fit under both halves. Instead of a simple camera setup, you need multiple cameras in a much more complex arrangement. And everything has to be incredibly thin to make the whole thing fold properly. All those extra parts and engineering challenges add up to serious money. The S25 Ultra starts at $1,300, but the Galaxy Fold costs $2,000. The Pixel 9 Pro starts at $1,000, but the Pixel 9 Pro Fold is $1,800. The iPhone 16 Pro starts at $1,100, so we could easily see an iPhone Fold starting around $1,900 or even $2,000. That is not quite double the price for double the screen, but it is pretty close. Now, with trade-ins, payment plans, and carrier deals, you might not feel that full sticker shock up front, but you will definitely end up paying significantly more over time. Here is the second reason I am still excited about this device, despite the price. The idea of an iPhone that opens into an iPad mini just feels incredibly compelling. Apple has spent years perfecting their software to work across different screen sizes. From auto layout to Swift UI, their apps are designed to adapt smoothly. And the iPad App Store is incredibly robust with high-quality apps that take advantage of larger screens. Imagine having access to all of that in your pocket. You could edit documents with full desktop-class apps, watch movies on a much bigger screen, or even do light photo and video editing on the go. For creative professionals or anyone who needs to be productive while traveling, this could be a game changer. But there are also some significant drawbacks beyond just the price. Foldable phones traditionally have camera systems that are not as good as their regular counterparts. It is just harder and more expensive to fit multiple high-quality cameras into a device that needs to fold. That is the same reason the iPhone Air has a simpler camera system compared to the iPhone Pro. When every millimeter of thickness matters, compromises have to be made. If you are someone who relies heavily on iPhone cameras for photos and videos, the iPhone Fold might disappoint you. You are paying more money for potentially worse cameras. The battery life could also be a concern. Even though you get two batteries, they have to be much thinner than a single battery in a regular phone. And powering two screens, even when one is off, typically uses more energy. Most current foldable phones have decent battery life, but it's rarely better than their non-folding siblings. There is also the durability question. Any moving part is a potential point of failure, and foldable phones have a lot more moving parts. The hinge mechanism, the flexible display, and the multiple batteries, all of these add complexity. While Samsung and other manufacturers have gotten much better at making reliable foldables, they are still not as durable as a solid slab phone. Despite all these concerns, I am personally planning to go with the Fold this year. The idea of carrying an iPad mini that folds into a phone-sized package is just too appealing to pass up. Especially if Apple can smooth out the rough edges of iOS for foldable devices by the time this launches, and if the cameras aren't too much of a downgrade, and if the price is not completely outrageous. There is one more potential plot twist that could make this an instant buy for me. If Apple adds Apple Pencil support to this foldable iPhone, I am sold immediately. Being able to take notes, sketch, or mark up documents on a device that fits in my pocket would be incredible. So there you have it. The case for and against Apple's upcoming iPhone Fold. The appeal of a tablet-sized screen in your pocket is undeniable, but the price, camera compromises, and potential durability concerns are real issues to consider. What do you think? Are you planning to fold or not to fold? Let me know in the comments below whether you are excited about Apple's foldable iPhone or if you are planning to stick with the traditional slab design. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more tech news, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss any updates as we get closer to the official announcement. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.